Hi guys, it is another hot, sticky, miserable summer day here in the marshmallow of South Austin, Texas. Somehow this planet has limped into Friday morning, June 6, 2014. Amazingly, we are still here for another day. So Friday morning is my easiest day of the week to be a doomsday prophet and an environmental alarmist, because today is the day I get my newsletters from the Center for Biological Diversity and mangabay.com, who just survey all of the various media on the planet for doomsday headlines of the week, surveying mainstream media, alternative media, and most importantly, the scientific media reports coming out about how this planet in the past 7 days has gotten that much closer to the brick wall that we are heading into at 23,000 miles an hour. As we approach doomsday, we're 7 days closer than we were 1 week ago. And this picture in front of me is not South Austin, Texas. Where this picture is taken, this is from National Geographic, this photo being reprinted in Manga Bay. This is in the middle of Yasuni National Park in Ecuador, probably the single most biodiverse, biologically rich spot on planet Earth that has been a federally protected national park, I guess, since when was it? 1979, but it has been sold out by Rafael Correa to the Chinese oil drillers. And here they are busting their road. These little dots are these giant planet-eating caterpillars, and this road is pointing out like 6 of these gigantic machines could move through this road through the rainforest. This is about 250,000 acres of Yasuni National Park going under the bulldozer blades as Rafael Correa sells out his country and this planet to the Chinese oil companies. Now, of course, I doubt you do remember, but Mr. Correa, he promised that even if I do open up Yasuni National Park, we're going to be using helicopters. We're not going to be building roads. All of you tree huggers, you alarmists, you environmental alarmists, this is all going to be environmentally sensitive and sustainable oil drilling in the Amazon jungle. And you can see how once again Rafael Correa has kept his promises. That two-faced, lying sack of shit, hell-bent on destroying one of this planet's greatest treasures, so I guess people in China have more gas for their gas-sucking cars. Anyway, before I get back to mangabay.com, let's go over to see what our friends at Center for Biological Diversity have on their minds today. They start off with some good news, is that wolves, gray wolves, have been given endangered species protection in the state of California. There is only one problem: the population of wolves in the entire state of California remains at 0 today. But the good news is, right over the Oregon border, we have a new family of wolf puppies just over the Oregon border, and hopefully this is the first sign that wolves will start coming back towards California. So that's the good news. And then they go on to the rest of the news, meaning the bad news. Okay. I think I've mentioned some of these already in my End Times headlines over the past week. Here is landmark study. Population and consumption driving massive wildlife extinctions. A new study led by acclaimed conservation biologist Dr. Stuart Pimm of Duke University finds that wildlife are going extinct at a pace not seen in millions of years, 1,000 times faster than the normal rate of extinction. And the primary drivers of the sixth mass extinction are human population growth and increased resource consumption. It is the twin heads of the snake. This report is the latest wake-up call that if we are going to save a diversity of life on Earth, we need to move fast and begin addressing these two key issues at the source. There you go. Okay, from there, the Center for Biological Diversity weighs in honestly on Barack Obama's absolutely limp dick little joke of a climate plan this week. Okay. New power plant rule does not do enough to fight global warming. The Obama administration's new plan to cut global warming pollution from power plants simply does not go far enough to address the climate crisis. There you go. This joke plan comes on the heels of a report from federal scientists that global warming has already dangerously increased flood risk to American cities, blah, blah, blah. Tackling America's climate crisis will require much more than what the Barack Obama administration has proposed. Quote, this is the center's Kevin Bundy, whoever he is, quote, "This is like fighting a wildfire with a garden hose. We're glad the president has finally turned the water on, but it's just not enough to get the job done." There's the understatement of the year. Yes, fighting a wildfire with a garden hose is this country's commitment to battling climate change. But we do go back to some good news following that appraisal. Big win against toxics. Dangerous rat poison to cease production. Hallelujah. After pressure from the center, allied groups, government agencies, and you, our supporters, the maker of the rodenticide Decon has finally agreed to pull its most hazardous products from store shelves. The poison Decon is notorious for its extreme toxicity and ripple effects on creatures other than rodents, including children, cats and dogs living in houses, and even endangered species from kit foxes to California condors, which eat the poison rodents and are poisoned in return. Good news in California finally. And what's going on right across the border of California up there in Oregon, probably not too far from those wolf puppies. Lawsuit launched to protect rare seabirds from Oregon clear cuts. Logging companies are lining up to clear cut 3 parcels of forest in western Oregon that are home to 750 acres of prime habitat for federally protected marbled murrelets. And these parcels totaling 2,700 acres once belonged to the public as part of the Elliott State Forest, but the state of Oregon recently sold the land to the timber companies for $4.2 million, even though the parcels are valued at $22 million. There you go. And from Oregon, the Center for Biological Diversity taking a rare foray outside of the U.S. to Australia's Great Barrier Reef, bringing you up to speed on this. Australia's Great Barrier Reef threatened by fossil fuel exports. Eager to become the globe's newest energy powerhouse, Australia is about to sacrifice one of the planet's most precious ecological jewels, the stunning Great Barrier Reef, to last century's dirty fossil fuels. Australia has already approved 4 gas export terminals inside the Great Barrier Reef World Heritage Area. Good Lord. An expansion of the country's Abbott Point coal port is also of major concern. It would dredge and dump 3 million cubic meters of material in the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park, muddying the famously clear waters and burying habitat. Increased shipping across the reef would harm endangered manatees, sea turtles, and whales, and more coal would mean more devastating greenhouse gases anywhere this stuff is burned. But of course, where the stuff is going to be burned is China, is where all of this coal is being sent to. All right, good Lord, I'm 13 minutes into this, so let me dive in to mangabay.com to continue our journey around the planet into a brick wall. Okay, this is the story I started with. Oil company breaks agreement, builds big roads inside Yasuni rainforest. When the Ecuadorian government approved permits for an oil company to drill deep inside Yasuni National Park, it was on the condition that the oil company undertake a roadless design, with helicopters doing most of the legwork. However, a new report based on high-resolution satellite imagery has uncovered that the company PetroAmazonas has flouted its agreement's conditions, building a massive access road into the rainforest. Gee, what a surprise. And you saw that was that photo I started with. They love the story massive. The word massive repeating over and over is the operative word in Mangabay's headlines today. Okay, massive number 2. Singapore intercepts massive illegal shipment of Madagascar rosewood. And you better believe it was heading to China. intercepted on its way from Madagascar to China and Singapore. Okay, authorities in Singapore have made the largest ever international seizure of rosewood logs, providing further evidence that industrial-scale smuggling of Madagascar's rainforest timber continues despite an official government ban on the trade. Yeah, right. The latest shipment amounts to 3,000 tons, or more than 29,000 illicit rosewood logs. There you go. Let's see. Here's the latest on this palm oil story. Logger continues to destroy Indonesian rainforest despite green promises. Indonesian logging giant Asia Pacific Resources International Limited, should be unlimited, is continuing to destroy endangered rainforest in Sumatra despite its high-profile commitment to clean up its operations. Reveal new aerial photos. These aerial photos exposing all the lying sacks of shit on this planet from Sumatra to Ecuador. Okay, here is of jaguars and loggers, new film to showcase one of the least known regions in the deep Amazon. Okay, this is talking about the Las Piedras River system, completely unprotected, zero protection, one of the most remote, most spectacular, and most endangered ecosystems on the planet, with zero government protections. It's not even a paper park. You can kiss it goodbye. Okay. Let's see. They're asking the question, can economist Elinor Ostrom's revolutionary ideas halt climate change, improve people's livelihoods, and save the world's forests? Well, I don't know who the hell this guy is, but the answer to the question is no. His ideas cannot do that. Okay. Let's see. Here is ignoring boreal forest could speed up global warming. I guess boreal is forests that aren't tropical forests, to oversimplify. Greenhouse gas emissions from human activity have caused global... No shit. A new study finds that global temperatures may start to increase even faster if more is not done to protect Earth's boreal forest. Yeah. Okay. As the sweat starts to pop out on my forehead here in June, I find that April 2014 was the 350th month in a row with temperatures above average. Another way of saying this is monthly global temperatures have not fallen below average for even one single month since February 1985. They're talking global temperatures. And right next to this story intact Amazon forests show possible signs of global warming impact. Climate change may be taking a hidden toll on intact rainforest in the heart of the Amazon, finds a new study based on 35 years of observations. There you go. So this is not looking ahead with computer models. It is looking back over 35 years. This is what James Lovelock is always talking about. You need to pay more attention to this type of study than you do to climate models looking towards the future. The proof is coming in with each passing year that this planet is screwed. Okay, what's going on over there in the Philippines? Philippines targets 20 million acres. 20 million acres for palm oil production. The Philippines is proposing to convert some 20 million acres of, quote, idle, denuded, and unproductive lands for oil palm plantations. There you go. 20 million acres of those idle lands. They're just sitting there. Okay, from the Philippines to laboratories. Looking towards the future, lab-grown meat, a taste of the future? A new analysis describes one solution to the environmental and ethical problems of conventional meat production, growing meat without growing animals. There you go. You just make this shit in the lab, a little Frankenburger. There you go. I love this question they're asking. Turning point? U.S. and China announce major actions on global warming. We just heard the Center for Biological Diversity's comments on the major action using a garden hose to battle a wildfire. So this is just Manga Bay asking the question, could 2014 be a turning point for efforts to slash global greenhouse gas emissions? Well, I think we know the answer to that question. The Center for Biological Diversity just answered it. And I've read to you several mainstream media articles this week answering that question. Okay, enough of that joke. Okay, I guess this article here ties in with the oil drilling thing in Ecuador. Okay, after throwing out referendum, Ecuador approves oil drilling in Yasuní's embattled heart. No shit. I guess this is just the second, two stories about the same thing. By 2016, oil drilling will begin in what scientists believe is the most biodiverse place on the planet. Remote Yasuní National Park. Late last month, Ecuador announced it had officially approved permits for oil drilling in about 250,000 acres in the first round of oil drilling in the park. And there you go. Good Lord, 24 minutes, and I got to get out of here, guys. Running late as always. let's see. I just love it. We are going to end, and this is their final story of the week. You got to hand it to Manga Bay. They're a little more apocalyptimistic than the Center for Biological Diversity. This is Manga Bay analyzing this new study that I mentioned a minute ago from the Duke University, showing the extinction rate is in fact about 1,000 times the normal extinction rate before humans arrived on the planet. Since we got here, particularly in the past 100 years or so, we have ramped up the extinction rate on this planet approximately 1,000 times. And so what do the apocalyptimists at mangabay.com have to headline their coverage of this report to close out their newsletter and to close out this week's edition of my Ecological Meltdown Roundup with the apocalyptimistic headline of the week? Extinction rates are 1,000 times the background rate, but it is not all gloomy. There you go. It's not all gloomy. Guys, I hate to tell you, it is all gloomy. It is all gloomy. It is doomy, gloomy, and time for your old doomsday prophet and environmental alarmist to wrap up this rant and get to work getting gas money for some gas-sucking van. Bye, guys.